Alright, I just whipped up these 3 sawhorses pretty quick. This is it. Some of these have been skip planed, some of them haven't. But yeah, that's what we're working with. So I gotta find my metal detector, and we're gonna pull some nails that are in the ends. I know there's some nails still. So this is my nail removing tool. It's called a crescent nail puller. I'll put a link below. But basically it pinches the nail, you pull it out. Sometimes I just drive them down in less than my joiner cut if I can't get them out. Also found my metal detector. It's just something you have at like a concert, so I kind of know they're deep enough too when that happens. So I just go along the wood. And it found one right here. Yep, there's one right there. Let's see if we can get it. So here's all the nails we ended up getting out of there. The ones that I got out, there were a bunch more that I just ended up sending home. I'm gonna lay these out in the best pattern I think is for what we're looking for. These have been skip planed, which means they ran through the planer once. They're not perfectly flat, but we're okay with that for this tabletop. So if I even hold this edge up, we're gonna get a little bit of crowd here. And for the style of this, I'm not gonna go through and try to straighten them. I typically would if it was a client job, but this is gonna be in our home, so we're okay with a little bit of rustic love. So it is gonna make my domino difficult going edge to edge. So once I lay these all out, I'll get a pencil or a piece of chalk and I'll show you where I want to put my dominoes, and then I'll know which boards to joint, and we'll throw them on the joiner. Joint one edge and rip the other edge through the table saw so they're perfectly straight. So that's pretty much my layout. So look how old the growth is on these. These are old growth oak. Alright, so I'm at a little bit of a standstill right now. I got the table all jointed and table saw cut and ready to be glued up. But I was looking at this piece. I believe these are all kiln dried, but this has some decent termite damage to it. So much so that this piece is loose. I'm afraid of it breaking off. But this should have been kiln dried, all this reclaimed lumber. So it should be all dead, and I haven't seen any evidence of anything of the sort. So regardless, we're going to fill it with fiberglass resin. Now this is a cheap kit you can get if you don't want to buy real epoxy. It's kind of uglier, it's like a brown hue. But I use it for a lot of stuff. I'll probably even use it to fill these holes. It has like a clear brownish color when it dries, but that's used for fiberglassing. But it's a cheap alternative to, you know, the regular epoxy kits. So we're gonna get some tape, and I'm gonna try to like tape up the end, tape up the sides, maybe even get some hot glue in there, I'm not sure. And then we'll mix up a batch and pour it in. While I'm here, fill these holes. Another trick I like to use for these kinds of holes is to put sawdust in them. So I'll tape from the bottom and then put sawdust in it so it doesn't take up so much epoxy, and it gives it kind of a binder. I've epoxied a lot of the holes, and I epoxied that big split that was up there. So I'm going to run that through the table saw, and then we'll get the domino out and join these double joints so it's a full length. I might actually do that first and then run it through the table saw, or I'll just leave them loose, because you can do the domino two ways. You can do a loose fit or a tight fit. I'll probably just do a loose fit on everything so I can smack it with a hammer. I think this piece needs jointed again. They've kind of settled a little bit, and I don't want any internal tension. So then we'll glue it all up. It'll be a stressful glue up. Try to get all my clamps ready, and we'll clamp this tabletop up finally. So let's get started. I have everything prepped now. It's as tight as I'm going to get it as far as jointed and table saw and edges. Got all the dominoes cut. So now we're going to glue it up. It's going to be a stressful glue up, so I'm just going to let you guys roll I'm gonna get all my clamps prepped at the right width. Pounding dominoes in, I'll probably be pounding this thing together with a dead blow hammer, so let's get it done. We got it all glued up. Took the liberty to, whoa, look at this hair, hold on, need a hat. Took the liberty to clean the shop. I had so many projects in here, got to finish this one today. But yeah, all glued up, a little bit stressful, but we got it done. So you see I got this 2x4 steel, that's gonna make up the legs. We're gonna do inset. I'm going to cut this out, flush mount steel, cap the top, chop that thing up. It's going to be the 4 legs. So I like to let things sit in glue for at least 24 hours. So probably before I go to bed tonight, I'll do another round of fiberglass resin on some of these cracks that like didn't seal up on the top. And then there were a few holes that didn't get plugged last time. So then hopefully tomorrow I could pull this all off, start sanding. That's all I got on this one today. I'm using these clamps at the end just to hold the ends tight, and it is dominoed. And this is meant to be reclaimed, so it's not perfect. Tried running some glue in there, but I'll end up kind of sanding all the edges over, and it'll have a hump like this. I'm not trying to get it perfectly flat. That's kind of the style. It's pretty close. I didn't end up using cauls on this to clamp and keep it flat. I alternate my long clamps top bottom, and then the dominoes, you know, kind of hold everything in place. And I'm kind of twisting it right now on purpose to get it to sit a little flatter. So you don't want too much internal tension, but try to twist it up. So now I've got all this space. I'm going to start on another project, which will be another video you guys can see on that table. Let's get back to work. So I did have a really nice fit on this one. Got it all kind of polished up and capped. Had my buddy advanced degree cut out these caps for me on his Langmuir, and these are going to be the underside plates. They'll get tacked to both sides of this. But anyways, I was kind of hammering away with my new slick here and the dead blow, and yeah, we blew the corner off of that. But it's okay. We'll use some of that weld glue, you know, the wood weld. Glue that back on. Might take this opportunity to fill these holes. I should have filled those end holes there. Glue that on, and then we'll cut this a little bit wider. The thing that sucks about it is my support on this side is going to be hanging on a glue joint. So ideally, I would put some dowels in here, but the problem is going to be just getting this to fit perfect with those dowels. I might borrow my buddy's domino and put a couple dominoes in there. Yeah, but that's how she goes. Yeah, I might do the dominoes with a loose fit. That's probably a good idea. Take some of the bend out, and then yeah, these plates will go on both sides. And we'll be like, we want to do it just proud of this surface and just proud of out here, because I don't want this rounded edge tucked inside there. I was kind of rushing, to be honest. Yeah, something like that. That might be a little bit much. Might have to take that back a little bit, but you get the idea. Anyways, it's about 10, 11 o'clock or something, so I'm gonna call it a night and deal with this tomorrow. I was gonna glue that on, but I'm gonna take my time. And to get that metal finish, I just went through the grits with a palm sander. Took the heavy stuff off with the sanding disc, and then all the way up to 320. So that worked pretty well. But yep, that's enough for tonight. Try it again tomorrow. Alright, so I was putting the table leg in here and I had it a little too tight. I was trying to get a really nice fit. And nice thing is it broke off pretty clean, pretty level. I was just going to glue it, but the way I'm doing my table leg brackets are these. So this will weld onto there and bolt, you know, up into here. So this could potentially, you know, I got one on each side, but it could be taking some load. So because of that, I'm going to put a couple dominoes in. I'd like to put 4 in, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. But the XL is just, it's pretty big. I think we might be able to get it. I wanted to do a tight fit. You can switch this so it does a tight cut. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it like all aligned with a tight fit, so because this isn't square. So I could, if I had more material, I'd probably cut this square and glue a whole piece on. But in this situation, I think our best bet is just going to be to do a loose fit, get a lot of glue in there, and pray it holds together. Well, that's looking pretty good, so I'm going to do my alignment marks here. One there and one there. And we'll give this a shot. If it doesn't work, then try something else. See if I can hold it straight when I go in. Yes, that's nice. Alright. That one didn't go in as far because of the angle. But hopefully that'll kind of counteract on this one. So let's clamp. I'm going to clamp that on this table real good. Big old Pierre clamps. These things are amazing. I'm not going to, I got to put the machine up there. Let's see. How can we clamp this? You know what, I'm just going to push it up against a hard stop. So we'll put this clamp here like that. So 2 out of 4. Let's do a dry fit. See how we did. This is going to even line up. See, I'm bottomed out. You know, and I might just have to cut that tenon a bit shorter. Let's try just one. Yeah, that one's going to be too long also. So really I need more depth, and that is... That was it. Right on the side. Alright. Okay, there we go. Might be a little too deep. Try it. Oh yeah. I took a belt sander to this a little bit. The height was off. Maybe that'll work. Oh yeah, look at that fit. I got my little piece to glue in there. All right. Alright, so we're back on this table. It's been probably 6 months since I worked on it. It took me half a day just to clean the shop to get to it. But where we left off last time was I finished the cap end of this, smoothed it all out. And these are a little rusty now, but we have this ready to go and get welded on there once it's plumbed up. So we'll start with that just to kind of problem solve that. Before I get that far there, I'm going to go through all my table mount brackets and countersink them just like this. So I'm going to use these bolts here. They should be good. I'll pre-drill them with my door guide. I call it a door guide drill bit. It's a spring-loaded center finder. You can put it right in the countersink and it'll self-find. So we'll square this up in here, you know, pre-drill it, get it screwed in on both sides, and then we'll slide our leg in and tack it, you know, where it's supposed to go. Probably won't fully weld these, we'll just do a heavy tack on all four, and then hopefully today we can flip this thing over and get a look at it. But the hardest part's going to be flipping the table back and forth, the top to look really good. So I think we'll do this one, make sure it's all good, pull it off, flip the table back over, and we'll cut all four of our legs. Now, I messed up with the legs. I made them the wrong length, and it's been so long I can't even remember. This is one reason why I put this off. This one might be good, so 30.5 to the top, so that would put, when it sticks through here, it's a 1/2 inch taller than 30. 30 inches is how tall we want it. These ones, I have one at 30.5, so this one's good to go. But these ones are short, so I'm going to have to cut and weld because they're too small to use. So we're just going to do one thing at a time, then we'll have to cap all these, smooth them. I'm going to Bondo and sand, and we'll spray them flat black. By the end of the day today, if we can get these all cut in with the saw and chiseled, I'll be pretty happy, because then it's just metal work, rinse and repeat. It's pretty easy. I'm back and forth on if I'm going to need any lateral bracing. I probably should. My gut was that with it fitting into the table like this, it would have enough side to side support, but I don't know that for a fact. So let's start by countersinking all of those. Alright, it's the next couple days and we're back on this table again. I went through and recut all these legs. I had made a mistake, cut these short, so I had to scab some pieces in. And my bandsaw had like a wander to it, and all the cuts weren't square, so I used a different bandsaw I had access to and cut it, and it's way better. So I think what I'm going to do is I got the seam lined up. If you don't know, this, I think it's DOM, drawn over mandrel, steel tube, has a seam on it. Alright, so it starts out in maybe like a pipe shape, I'm not sure, but I try to keep the seams the same, and I think my cuts are pretty good, and I let these pieces be short just in case they weren't, and it like angled up a little bit. If it's a short distance, it doesn't matter as much. But they're big enough to where I can still weld it. So what I need to do is go around and grind like a small bevel on this. It's easier to get full penetration down to the underside. Not that it really matters for furniture, but it's good practice. So I'm just going to skim the edges real quick, take those burrs off too so they're not high. And then I'll put a clamp on this and tack it with the clamp on 4 sides so it doesn't warp and twist. And then we'll fully weld it and then grind it all smooth. And when you grind these smooth, always leave it proud. When you have a big weld bead here and you're trying to grind it flush, when you're using a flap disc or a grinding disc, don't go all the way down. Leave it like proud, like a 16th or 32nd, and then use sandpaper or like a belt sander to take it down the rest of the way. If you use the disc, you can scallop like into this metal, and then it'll never sand flush because you have a big divot in there, or you'll have to try to take off like this, you know, 1/8 inch wall, which is a lot of metal. So, and if you do that, then you'll have a weak spot. So what I'm getting at is weld it big, grind it close, and then finish with sanding abrasives to get it nice and smooth. And after that, I have laser cut tops, or plasma cut. We'll do the tops on these 3, and they'll all look like this, and then we'll clean this rust off because these have been sitting forever. Then we'll be ready to start tacking this all on here, which reminds me I need to countersink a few of these still because I wore out my countersink bit. And then so I did a trial fit in here too, and I need to still remove a little bit more wood to get a nice tight fit. It was tight in the past, which is interesting. This wood grew, I think it absorbed some moisture in the air. We had a really wet summer, and I try to keep the garage around 50 for wood and stuff, but 50% moisture, I think it kind of shrunk. So that's a good thing to note too. Wood always moves, metal's not going to move. Metal rust. So anyways, this is all at 30.5 inches, and I have a 1/4 inch reveal on top, and then I have a cap at the bottom, so we'll bottom fit and finish will be slightly over 30. I did that on purpose in case I had to take more material off the bottom. I could still land around 30. Plus I feel like 30 is just a little low for this table, so that extra 1/4 inch of height will kind of make me feel a little bit better. Not really a huge deal. So fire up the welder. I hope I have enough gas. I was low last time I used it. It's been a few months. I think it was on the Bobcat. Ooh yeah, we're getting low. Well, hopefully it'll last this job. And then I did replace my glass finally on this welding helmet. Alright, that's enough chit chat. Let's get that tacked up. so we just got the table done, and I'm going to try to make 2 quick benches in an hour with these 2 pieces of white oak, and then I think later I'll bring them back and I'll fill all the holes with epoxy and stuff. But at least I'll get started. So these are 7 feet long. I need to get them down to 6 feet. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to cut. I have a loose piece here I'd like to cut off, but I also have some wane on this side that's about 2.5 inches. Oh, it's going to be really close if I decide to cut that. Now this one I think I'm going to cut. There's a divot here. I'm just going to cut that right off. Yeah, just past this. So I might split the difference on that. So I'm just gonna pull some numbers and then I'll get my straight lines and probably just rip it with the circ saw or the track saw.